Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-Memorial Day weekend Bullring. I am Alan Dietz, along with Jess, Ballard. Today's show sponsored by HMS Motorsport. Got a lot of great guests coming up on the show today, including Hunter Robbins, Gio Ruggiero. Jay Pennell will be here to talk about the Cup weekend. We'll also hear from Benedict and Mike Hopkins. And it took a while, but we got to see a lot of racing over the last week.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well, there was a lot. It started early. But it started on Thursday.
Yeah.
For our coverage.
Yep,
yeah.
At Hickory.
And the weather was great on Thursday. And then it kind of just all
went. It was good
on
Friday.
Yeah. And then it all just kind of went downhill.
But it's beautiful today.
Yes, it is.
Of course.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Well, what do you think? You think we should go racing across America?
Yes.
Let's
hit the highlights.
Let's hit the highlights. And as Jess said, it all started for us here on Racing America. Thursday, the ASA Stars in action at Hickory. William Byron and Matt Craig led the field to green. After starting 12th, Bubba Ballard, he made his way into the top five, fell out with 58 laps to go, had a mechanical issue, 49 laps to go. The bad luck hit Casey Roderick. He gets major damage after hitting the wall and Jackson Boone in the process. Great racing for the lead with 10 laps to go between William Byron, Gio Ruggiero, and Cole Butcher. Last lap, it got a little interesting going into turn 3. Gio Ruggiero into Byron, moves him up the racetrack, kept his first career ASA Stars win. And we'll hear from Gio about that here in just a little bit.
Yep. And that's just crazy to me. That's his first super late model win.
Also Thursday at Hickory, limited late models were racing. Daniel Wilk and Boo Boo Dalton on the front row. Landon Huffman, he passed Wilk for the lead. Then contact between Graham Hooler and Trey Knipe that sent Hooler for a spin. And then Dalton challenging Huffman for the lead until his car goes up in smoke. Landon Huffman, who was here with us last week, leads the rest of the way to score the victory. Friday at Tri-County, Cars Tour Pro late models in action. Last-minute decision by Carson Quapple to get his Pro late model ready, and he goes out there and wins $5,000.
What a great last-minute decision.
Oh, it was a very lucrative one. Also at Tri-County, the new GSX Rat Street Stock Division was in action for their inaugural race. Marlon Yoder leading to get things started, but after he fell out, the battle shifted to Cody DeMarmels and Gary Ledbetter Jr., and Gary Ledbetter adds to his win total here in the Carolinas as he stakes the win. Also Saturday, Oxford Plains Speedway. Super late models were in action. Ryan Dean and Kyle D'Souza starting up front. Big incident here. Colby Benjamin goes for a spin, collected Kate Ray and others. No serious damage, though. D'Souza, he dominates, leading all the way for an emotional win dedicated to his crew chief, Seth Holbrook, who recently suffered a stroke, and we send our best out to Seth. Great guy, and definitely want to see him back at the racetrack soon. At Montgomery Motor Speedway, it's the Show Me the Money Pro Late Models, 100 laps on the docket, with Zach Dixon, Josh Hicks bringing the field down to green. Following a restart, Hunter Robbins, I thought kind of a surprise, was there this weekend. He dominated the second half for his first Show Me the Money win of the season. Then on Sunday at Wiscasset Speedway, it was our first race at Wiscasset this year. Always love seeing races there. The Coastal 200, 27 super late models took the green flag. Two of the best at Wiscasset leading them, Ben Ashline and Mike Hopkins. Eddie McDonald took a turn up front, but would be passed on the outside by Chris Thorne for the lead. 52 laps to go. Hopkins just too strong. He powers by Thorne for the lead. Hopkins leads the rest of the way and joins Ben Ashline as the only drivers to win the Coastal 200 and Boss Hog 150 at Wiscasset. And Slinger Super Speedway, the Elite 8 Super Late Models, for an action. Former Slinger Nationals winner Luke Fenhouse starts from the pole. He took charge in the early going, but late in the race, veteran Brad Miller, he restarted on the outside of road number 1, took the lead going the long way around. And Brad Miller takes the win for his first at Slinger this year. And that gets you caught up
Holy cow.
What the week was here on Racing America.
That's right. And then you had the Cup stuff.
And then you had the Cup stuff, which we're going to have Jay Pennell on for the first time. He's going to join us to talk about all of the wild action at the Coca-Cola 600 yesterday. When we come back, we'll be joined by our first guest of the afternoon, Show Me the Money winner, Hunter Robbins.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety, providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sports cars drivers. From grassroots to professional racers, HMS Motorsport has over 25 years' experience outfitting drivers with the best gear on the market. Equipped with first-hand product knowledge, our experts are ready to help you select the best harness belts, seats, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. HMS is even the exclusive importer for Schroed belts, Schubert helmets, and Valero base layers. Visit one of our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us online at hmsmotorsport.com, where you can learn the details of our products and order online. Safety starts here.
Be at Oxford Plains Speedway Sunday, June 4th to see the stars and cars of the Oxford 250 as the past super late models hit the track. Past supers will battle it out for 150 green flag laps. Add in past modifieds and the Mad Bombers racing for $500 to win, and you've got an afternoon of fast fun. Be at Oxford Plains Sunday, June 4th, or you can catch it all on Racing America.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
You're watching Racing America.
Glad to have you back here with us on the Bullring, presented by HMS Motorsport. Alan and Jess here with you today. And our first guest, a winner this past weekend at Montgomery Motor Speedway, Show Me the Money Pro Late Models, that is Hunter Robbins. Hunter, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on the win.
Well, thank you. Normally it's good to hear from you guys, because normally that means we have won a race or did something good. So glad to be back on, and hopefully it's not the last time this year.
Well, what went into the decision to run this race? I know you don't run as many pro late model races as you used to. Was this a last minute thing? I mean, or was it scheduled out far in advance?
Well, it was kind of last minute to go to this particular one. We've been working on getting our pro car back together. We lost it at the end of the last the season finale at Pensacola last year, and so we've had a new car coming, and our plan was just to kind of turn our older car into the pro car, and but we had a bunch of kind of unfortunate series of events that happened at North Wilkesboro that caused us to miss the race, and just at that time we were entered to go to Hickory, and then just at that time we just kind of made the decision, well, we'll just not go to Hickory and go run Montgomery. But we were kind of already working towards putting a pro car back together. Just was kind of really aiming to maybe hit the next race that they got coming up, the doubleheader weekend, Pensacola, Montgomery, in the middle of June. But we kind of rushed, got it together, but it worked out for us.
Chassis manufacturers are one of those things in short track racing. People either are really up to speed on them, or they kind of have no idea even what the different manufacturers are. So what chassis manufacturers that new car, and kind of, if you had to give a race fan like a synopsis of, are the chassis manufacturers a super big deal to short track racers, compared to like the NASCAR guys who are obviously, geared up with a manufacturer like Ford, Chevy, or Toyota?
Yeah, I mean, so this particular cars they're Hamke cars. The chassis manufacturers in the short track world, I think, is really is a really big deal. Everybody kind of I think a lot of drivers find stuff that suits their driving style better. The Hamke cars have really fit my driving style the last handful of years that I've been driving them now, 3 years or so. I mean, I had a Fury car for a while, and those cars are just a kind of a looser setup chassis, and it really didn't go very well with my driving style. Whereas a guy like Derek Thorne or someone like that runs those cars, they win everywhere with them. So, and then with Bubba Pollard and his Seneca stuff is that really fits his driving style, right? So, we were, but our new car we're putting together or have put together for the rest of the year is a Hamke car, and so now it's really nice to have two of the same car now. We before we had a Fury car and had a Hamke car, and it was a little bit tougher to switch things over setup wise or shocks and spring wise, just always having to change stuff to put it on one car or the next. So, looking forward to having two almost identical cars and between the Pro and the Super, really just having a different motor and different carburetor and able to go run a bunch of races.
It's no surprise with the Pro late models. You always seem like about every 2 years you get a good crop of young drivers, and this race kind of stuck out to me Saturday night because I thought Zach Dixon ran well. I think that Josh Hicks is going to do really good in that 62 car. What did you see out there from your perspective as far as some of the new talent?
Yeah, I think I like Dylan Fetcho a lot. He's been really good between Pensacola and Nashville, and it's just kind of him and his dad, and they've got a good car and a good piece of equipment, and they run really well. So I thought he was going to be really tough to beat, and really the same for Chris Tullis. I mean, they may not have they probably have almost now about as much experience around Montgomery as I do, because they've ran almost every race there for the past 4 or 5 years or so, I guess, if not maybe a few more than that. So those guys they're tough to beat. They may not have the big names that from not being able to run some of the super races or whatnot, but those guys, they were tough to beat, and they were really good this weekend. And then, yeah, you said you've always got some newer guys that are coming up, and I mean, the way the sport's structured now, I mean, you don't get a lot of guys that just stay in the same car for very long. Those guys have been racing now for a couple years, and probably for a couple more years to come at least. So then you've got a slew of drivers that are hard when you've got to race them. I mean, every year there's like you said, there's new people that come in and that are just or that are competitive, right? So, but it wasn't the Tullis. He definitely didn't make it easy on us. His car was really good, and just it was we were almost nose to tail for the last 30, 40 laps or 60 laps, I guess. Until right there at the very end, but our car started fading a little bit, but it's just faded a little bit more.
Well, congratulations on the win. What are we going to see on next here?
So we got another set of pro races we've got figured, and then just kind of figure out our super late model slate for the rest of the kind of going forward. I mean, we got our eyes on the big July 2nd race at Nashville, and then a big doubleheader coming up Pensacola at the end of July for the Blizzard races. And just I mean, we kind of used up all of our luck, I guess, last year, and the start of this year just hasn't been very good. We've had a lot of bad luck and put ourselves in bad situations that caused the bad luck. So looking forward to turning our year around essentially, and then we're kind of we didn't really want to run for points this year the way we ran for points last year, and still want to race a lot, because if you don't race a lot, you're not gonna be as competitive as you need to be. But just pick and choose some more and pick us up another few big races that's close by and feasible for us to make.
Well, you've turned it around. You got that win at Montgomery. We congratulate you on that, and I know we'll be seeing a lot more of you here on Racing America.
Well, thanks for having me, and looking forward to coming back.
All right, that's Hunter Robbins. When we come back, we'll talk to Gio Ruggiero coming off a big win at Hickory.
Ready to take your brand to the next level? At Victory Lane Design, we can help. If you are looking for a professional website, cutting-edge logo, a hero card that separates you from the pack, or video production to keep you connected with your fans, then check out VictoryLaneDesign.com, where winning counts. 5-Star Bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-Star.
ASA returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park Father's Day Sunday, June 18th, as Track Enterprises present the ASA Stars National Tour and ASA Midwest Tour. See the nation's top drivers with the best super late model stars in the Father's Day 100, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. Four other great racing series will also be in action. Tickets available online at MilwaukeeMileRacing.com or at the gate on race day. For complete details, go to MilwaukeeMileRacing.com. Racing returns to Milwaukee Sunday, June 18th.
So I flipped a lot in quarter midgets just because that's what it's going to be. That's just what they are. I flipped over one time in a super late model, and it was in Concord when they used to race out there. And I was probably 17, 18 at the time. And it wasn't like a barrel rollover. It was like a slow, there was a wreck in front of me and we're creeping through there, and I kind of like climbed a guy's tire, and it was a slow turnover going 10 mile an hour. And that was just like are you kidding me? This happened? Like, you know, you don't expect to end up on your roof creeping through a wreck, and just the way it happened. So it stunk at the time, but looking back on it now, it's like, man, that was the most anticlimactic rollover I've ever had.
Welcome back to the Bullring, presented by HMS Motorsport. Joining us today, big winner last week, ASA Stars at Hickory Motor Speedway. Our ASA list driver this week is Gio Ruggiero. Gio, congratulations on that big win last week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Well, tell me a little bit about where you are today.
Right now I'm at the TPC Toyota Performance Center.
And now what do you guys do there? Is it simulators, or are you working out? I mean, what kind of thing are you doing today?
We work out in here. There's a gym and meal prep, and there's all sorts of stuff that we have resources to here.
Jess, I think I need to go there.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that's the whole package. How many hours a week do you Toyota development drivers like spend, you know, with the program, or like implementing things in your week that are part of the program?
Here at TPC, try to come in here for about 1 or 2 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Look, if I can walk for 5 minutes, let alone 2 hours. So last Thursday at Hickory, I would argue maybe the biggest win. Well, I think it is the biggest win of your career, definitely in stock cars. Did the performance of the car surprise you, or did you feel like you guys and you had enough experience that you expected to be up there in the top 3 or 4 cars all night?
Yeah, I mean, Wilson Motorsports brought me a great car. We were really fast all day, really in practice, qualifying, and throughout the whole race. That was my first time there at Hickory. I had tested there one time, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to work out when we showed up to race. I wasn't sure if I was going to, struggle or be good, but I was pretty surprised with myself. But the car definitely helped me out. We had a really, really fast car. So
I was reading one of the Racing America stories just covering the action at Hickory, and that just doesn't sound right that's your first super late model win. I just feel like I don't know, that didn't sound right to me. And to do it at a track that you hadn't been at before, and I thought the crowd was great at Hickory too. I was actually there in person, and it was packed stands.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of cheering after the race. I thought we put on a great show for the fans. I thought it was pretty awesome to see.
So 10 years from now, when we go back and look at the highlights of this race, obviously, one thing that'll be replayed over and over again is that last lap and being able to get up there alongside William Byron and beat him to the line by a nose. But, I went back and watched this race yesterday, and the whole race was very aggressive, I thought. You and him, there were a couple of times that you guys had door slammed, and it was on his side that he door slammed you. So, do you get to a point after that where you say, all right, the gloves are off. If this is the way that you want to do it, this is how we'll do it?
Yeah, for sure. The way he was racing us definitely, kind of gave me the okay to, give it back to him. I just kind of waited, until that last lap when it mattered the most to do it. So it all worked out in our favor, and we brought home the trophy. So,
Jess, sorry, Gio, Jess, what I always say is if you're going to hit them where they can't get you back until after the race is over. But hit them hard. That's works
great.
too.
I'll write that one down.
Yeah, make sure.
Put that in your pocket, Gio. Yeah. So what's up next for you?
This weekend we're going to race Super again at Salem. It'll be my first time there as well.
Well, you got to be excited about that. Of course, the ASA CRA Super Series and JIG CRA All-Stars Tour racing at Salem. That'll be here on Racing America. And, driving for a guy like Donnie Wilson, who's had so much experience, and he was always so good at Winchester and places like that with high banks. When you go into a new racetrack, which is something that you are doing a lot here, several races in a row, nobody's got a lot of experience at Wilkesboro, obviously with Hickory and now with Salem. How do you approach it? Because I've got to think that you've got the confidence that there's a baseline there with the car. So what do you try to achieve in those first practices to get you comfortable?
Yeah, like you said, I think our car will be really good. Just need to try to, study as hard as I can before the race, watching film from past races there, kind of see what works in the race and what doesn't, what line the guys are running, and go out there and practice and kind of try out different things and see what works and what doesn't to make speed.
Well, Gio, we've known about you here for a couple of years on Racing America, and I think more and more people are learning about you after this past week at Hickory. Congratulations. That's a huge milestone for you, and we'll be watching you at Salem this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
All right, that's Gio Ruggiero, the winner at Hickory last week. Well, the Cup race finally is over with here in Charlotte. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jay Pennell about the Cup race and get all his thoughts heading into our next race at St. Louis.
Be at Oxford Plains Speedway Sunday, June 4th to see the stars and cars of the Oxford 250 as the past super late models hit the track. Past supers will battle it out for 150 green flag laps. Add in past modifieds and the Mad Bombers racing for $500 to win, and you've got an afternoon of fast fun. Be at Oxford Plains Sunday, June 4th, or you can catch it all on Racing America.
Hey gang, join Scott Hansen, myself, and a host of other drivers on what will be the largest short track party at sea. Sail Eastern Caribbean on the Norwegian Encore January 7th to the 14th of 2024. Enjoy unlimited drinks, a special question and answer session, and have a chance at racing Scott and myself on the GoPro track. Call Mark at Memories Travel at 262-527-1341 or visit mymmtravel.com and click on the link to Bickle's Bon Voyage link for information.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Hi, I'm Carson Osamar, and you're watching Racing America.
Obviously a big weekend, for Team Penske, and watching the Indy 500 yesterday. How that played out, and watching Joseph win his first one, and watching Mr. Penske win number 19. That's really cool to see, and especially when that stuff happens, you're like, well, all right, the pressure's on for us to try to sweep, the weekend, especially in two really big races. So that was the goal, and fortunately, we executed well enough to get it done, and I'm really looking forward to talking to Roger here after I get done and back to the bus, because I haven't congratulated him enough, and I'm looking forward to hearing his voice. So big weekend, and obviously winning the 600 is massive. I grew up coming here watching my dad race for a long time as a kid, and it was just what we did, every summer, and really cool. And it was cool for my parents to be here as well. So that was a special moment and fun night, that's for sure. It's Monday races seem to go really well for me. I don't know what it is, but definitely a fun night.
Well, that's what Ryan Blaney had to say after his win in the Coca-Cola 600 over the Memorial Day holiday. Can't say Memorial Day weekend because it actually was on Memorial Day. And joining us now to take us on the road through the Cup is Racing America contributor Jay Pennell. And Jay, you were in the grandstands yesterday watching the race, so you had a very good perspective. And I do want to talk about Ryan Blaney, and obviously I think we have to talk about that other thing that happened yesterday with Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. But Jess and I were just talking about the crowd looked great.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the crowd, especially to come back on a Monday like that. There was weather at the track on Monday as well. But everybody really stuck it out. I watched the majority of the Cup race from the backstretch, actually, on the infield, and then went to the grandstands for the Xfinity race. And even the Xfinity race, which was run after the Coca-Cola 600, they had a great crowd on hand. A lot of people stayed there. We're really enthusiastic to see Justin Allgaier win. But yeah, I mean, throughout the entire weekend, Sunday I was around in the fan zone, walking around, and it was just packed. Despite being pouring down rain. So kudos to the race fans, kudos to everybody at NASCAR and Charlotte Motor Speedway for doing everything they could to get all racing in. So it was a great day yesterday. Lots of really good racing and some interesting storylines for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear that it still had that Coke 600 feel despite just the awful weather we had all weekend. And I mean, how about those Xfinity teams? I mean,
right?
They just had to be. That was just a marathon for them, really.
And I, Jay, heard from a couple of guys that I'm friends with on Facebook that the Xfinity race got over with at 11:15, something like that, and they were saying we're going back to the shop to unload the trailer and load it so it can head out to Portland.
Yeah, I think I don't remember which team it was. It might have been Alpha Prime or somebody posted to Twitter where they got back from the track. They finished the race. They loaded the hauler. They drove it to the shop, unloaded the Charlotte car, finished prep on the Portland car, loaded it, and we're out the door by, I think, 5 a.m. So, yeah, those teams, kudos to those guys and gals on the Xfinity side, because obviously with the Cup race taking priority, there was a lot of concern, I think, in that garage as to what was going to happen. I don't think anybody expected the mist and rain yesterday that was at the track. And there's really nothing worse than being at the track working on a team when there's nothing to do but sit in the rain and watch it rain. So, with them getting out to Portland, I know that was a logistical nightmare for all those guys and gals. So thankfully we were able to get the race in. I know it's still going to be tough for them to get out there. It's a long trek out across the country for a lot of these teams that don't have the resources as, some of the Cup teams do. So I'm glad we were able to get all that race in, and they were able to get everything done that they needed be done for this weekend's race. But I think that just goes to show how hardworking and dedicated a lot of these folks are in the NASCAR industry. And I think a lot of times, the folks back at the shop and the guys and gals on these Xfinity teams, especially some of these lower tier teams, I don't think they get the recognition that they should sometimes, because they are some of the hardest working people in the sport.
Ryan Blaney is one of those kind of guys. He's kind of like Chase Elliott. I think he's very hard on himself. I remember, watching him drive late models, and granted he was a kid, but you kind of learn folks' idiosyncrasies and stuff like that from watching them a lot. This, I think, could be a huge sea change for that team to finally say, all right, we've led a ton of laps, we've had a ton of bad luck, and finally everything went our way yesterday to where we could put it together.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer that if somebody's, whether it's they're in a rut or they're searching for their first win, I'm a firm believer that in some cases, one will open the door to many. And I feel like that's kind of the case with Ryan. I think we've seen Ryan's talent before. I think there's never been any kind of question about, can he go out there and win still? But anytime you have these droughts and, things don't exactly go your way week in and week out, I'm sure you start to question yourself, and fans start to question it, media start to do it as well. But there's no better way to do that than to come out and kind of and win a marquee race like this, a crown jewel event. From my perspective, where I was watching, I don't think I saw him fall out of the top 5 the entire day, really. And he was just really, really strong. So see him be able to put that together, the fact that it kind of went that long green flag run and kind of ran out at the end. There was no, super late cautions or anything like that. I think that was, I enjoyed to see that. It kind of had an old school feel to the race to it. But yeah, I think this could definitely open the door for Blaney. It gives him that confidence to know he's going to be in the playoffs now with the win, and go out there and really maybe try some things and just start racking up those wins heading into the playoffs. This was the first race in the second half of the regular season. So with all those races left before the playoffs now, with a win in their back pocket, it'll be interesting to see what this 12 team does. I think the Penske cars haven't shown as much speed this year as they have in the past, but maybe things are turning around, and just what an incredible day or weekend for Roger Penske to score another Indy 500 win and have such an incredible event out there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then to cap it off with a win in the Coca-Cola 600. It doesn't get much better than that for the captain.
Yeah, I was actually, during the race, I was talking to Travis. I was like, has Roger Penske ever won both in the same weekend? And he's like, I don't know. I'll look it up. So maybe I manifested that. But when I first got involved, when I first started watching the sport, Chase Elliott was my guy. And I remember the event that sucked me into the sport, and I was hooked, was when he had been finishing second over and over, could not get the first win to happen. And then the incident between him and Hamlin at Martinsville. Yep. And so now moving forward, anything that's like Elliott Hamlin, I feel like Chase Elliott fans and probably Hamlin fans are like, they're going to be really like all eyes on that. So what's your opinion on, I feel like Denny made some good points there on the broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, without sounding too harsh, I think what we saw yesterday was just unacceptable to hook somebody hook somebody under green in a situation like that and turn them into the fence, that's extremely dangerous. To do that going into the dog leg at Charlotte, we've seen. I know there's been no fatalities in the sport in a very long time. Our injuries, aside from concussions, aren't as prevalent as they used to be. But that's a really dangerous part of the track. We've seen people lose their life there. We've seen people get hurt really, really bad there. In these cars, there's a lot of concern about the safety of these cars, and especially when it comes to concussions and hard hits. So to do that under green, that was surprising to see. I didn't.
Not to interrupt. One thing about it is, though, that I think differentiates this from Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson, whether or not it was intentional or not, he can always go back to that video and say, well, the 6 hit me. And with Bubba Wallace at Atlanta, you didn't have any other cars around that you could make that excuse.
Yeah, well, and I think if you look at the SMT data too, that kind of Denny shared yesterday, I think NASCAR needs to look into that. I'm sure they are already. I'm sure there's a lot of very tough and important conversations going on right now, within NASCAR and Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs about this incident. So, whether it was intentional or not, I think we've seen these two at it and at each other for a few years now. And, I think we've seen other drivers parked for wrecking people under caution, doing those kinds of things. So I would be surprised if Chase Elliott does not receive some sort of penalty or suspension for this. I just feel like it's such a dangerous situation, and the evidence of him not being in control of the car, I don't know that I have seen all that evidence. So I'll let NASCAR make that decision. I'm sure the fans have a million different opinions on it. I was listening to Sirius this morning and all the fans calling in there. You could definitely tell who were Chase fans and who were Hamlin fans, but it'll be a very interesting day for sure to hear what NASCAR has to say about this.
No doubt. Jay, I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I've never been on the Bullring, so I love what you guys do. And one thing I want to say before I head off is, this really kind of capped off like 3 weeks of just awesome racing here in North and South Carolina. From Darlington, where they honored the NASCAR 75 greatest drivers, to going back to North Wilkesboro for the ASA Stars and Cars Tour race, and the All-Star race, obviously, and from Hickory to Tri-County to Millbridge to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It was just a really good month of racing for North and South Carolina and just the racing community in general. And it was great to see the stands packed, garage was packed, high car counts, everything like that. So hopefully we keep that momentum going.
No doubt. Thanks again, Jay.
Yep, no problem. We'll see y'all.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk to Danny Benedict.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepperjack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety, providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sports cars drivers. From grassroots to professional racers, HMS Motorsport has over 25 years experience outfitting drivers with the best gear on the market. Equipped with first-hand product knowledge, our experts are ready to help you select the best harness belts, seats, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. HMS is even the exclusive importer for Schroed belts, Schubert helmets, and Valero base layers. Visit one of our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us online at hmsmotorsport.com, where you can learn the details of our products and order online. Safety starts here.
ASA returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park, Father's Day Sunday, June 18th, as Track Enterprises present the ASA Stars National Tour and ASA Midwest Tour. See the nation's top drivers with the best super late model stars in the Father's Day 100, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. 4 other great racing series will also be in action. Tickets available online at MilwaukeeMileRacing.com or at the gate on race day. For complete details, go to MilwaukeeMileRacing.com. Racing returns to Milwaukee Sunday, June 18th.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
Glad to have you back here with us on the Bullring, presented by H&S Motorsport. Alan and Jess here with you this afternoon. And, you know, we talked about it last week. There was so much going on that we couldn't get everybody on the show that we wanted to. And one of the people that we really wanted to get on the show was the winner of the APC United Late Model Series race up at Sunset Speedway in Ontario, and that was Danny Benedict. And Danny, I'm glad to have on the show here today. Congratulations on that big win.
Thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate it. It was a really good day for our whole team.
We're really glad to be broadcasting the APC United late model races this year. And, you know, I watched that race and you really had to work to get that lead. You know, I don't know a lot about Sunset Speedway, but it looks like a racetrack to me. If you get hooked up on the outside, you can make it really difficult for that guy on the bottom, but you were still able to get around.
Yeah, Sunset's just one of those places where it's got 2 really good grooves, and if you get pinned down on the bottom, unless you get a really good run, you're not really getting anywhere. So, you know, it's also one of those tracks where your tires wear out really quickly if you're not careful and if you're not saving. So, you know, with that in mind, we tried to get up to the front, well saving our stuff kind of all at the same time, and I think everybody else was kind of still saving their stuff. It was the first 150 lapper for the APC series ever. So, long distance race and at the track that's hardest on equipment for us. So, you know, just tried to pick my way to the front slowly, trying to save everything I could, and eventually got up to the lead and just tried to maintain it from there.
When you're trying to save, what like are you telling yourself? I can't imagine
not
being
going wide open.
Being strapped into a race car and having to tell yourself like to hold back. So like, what are you telling yourself?
Mostly you just tell yourself that you got to keep saving, and you know that's a big part of that is on your spotter too, to tell you, you know, when to go, when to not go, you know, what line's moving, what line's not moving, and just try to really get a good consistent rhythm. And Sunset, you can really gauge how much you're wearing it out, because it is so hard to get grip there, especially off a corner 2. So you really gotta really baby the car kind of for the first 50-75 laps in that rhythm. So you can definitely feel like, okay, I know I'm using it up, or I can give it a little bit more. So you definitely got to like pick and choose your battles. You know, there's a time to get to the front. I made a couple runs at the lead, and I think the 3rd time I finally got by him. So those first 2 times I knew I was kind of using it up a little bit. So I had to keep reminding myself, you know, there's lots of time, back it down a little bit, ride behind him for a bit, take another run at it. You know, you just got to always keep in the back of your mind that it's a long race. And at that point, there was still a long ways to go. So yeah, we were able to conserve enough to carry on to win the race. So yeah, it was a great day for our whole team.
Now, tell me if I'm mistaken here, but you know, Jess and I talk about this all the time. You know, kind of the different pockets and different regions of racing, you know, here in the United States. And to me, whenever I look at it, specifically late model racing, you know, you got what they do in the Maritimes, you got what they do in Quebec, you got what they do out west, Alberta and places like that. And then you guys have got the APC series here in Ontario, and it really, really has built into something nice here over the last number of years.
Yeah, it's not a ton different from what you guys would see down south as pro late models. For a while, a lot of parts of Ontario just had different styles of late model racing. Some places had limited late model racing, some had pro late model racing. We had ACT cars for a little while. So it was just kind of divided. And the whole idea behind the United Racing Series it's in the name, right? It's to unite all these groups of cars and make one rule package for everyone. And I think that's the main reason why it blew up, was because everybody could compete in it with whatever they had. And now it's grown into kind of like its own rule package that's pretty standard across most of like our home tracks up here. So I think that's a lot of the success that the series has had. But we can also take our cars out east. We can run them in the Maritimes. We can take them down south. We've seen Kyle Stackley and a couple other guys go down and run the Snowflake at Pensacola, or Trayton Lapsvich running the Easter Bunny with the Pass series. So there's a lot of the different things that we can do, and APC's done a really good job at making our cars kind of more standardized.
Well, that actually reminds me of one other question. How about this opportunity that one driver has this year to go down and run at the Snowflake?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something really cool that Luke's put on, and the APC series has gotten a hold of it and presented out. So, it's really cool for us as, short track racers that, don't typically have those opportunities just because of different barriers that we have, trying to get across the border. And then, Florida's 28 hours from us or whatever it is. So trying to get down there is just, crazy expensive, and amongst other things. So, for Luke to come up with this idea and give this opportunity to the champion this year is really big for our series. And I know a lot of guys have been talking about it a lot, so it's really exciting.
Well, Danny, congratulations on that win. As I said, I know a lot of folks very happy to see you get it. We'll be keeping up with you this year, and look forward to seeing more here on Racing America.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it, and appreciate you guys broadcasting our races. It's really cool.
Well, thanks a lot, Danny. It's our honor. We'll have more here on the Bullring when we come back.
Ready to take your brand to the next level? At Victory Lane Design, we can help. If you are looking for a professional website, cutting-edge logo, a hero card that separates you from the pack, or video production to keep you connected with your fans, then check out VictoryLaneDesign.com, where winning counts.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance, the highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
Be at Oxford Plains Speedway Sunday, June 4th to see the stars and cars of the Oxford 250 as the past super late models hit the track. Past supers will battle it out for 150 green flag laps. Add in past modifieds and the Mad Bombers racing for $500 to win, and you've got an afternoon of fast fun. Be at Oxford Plains Sunday, June 4th, or you can catch it all on Racing America.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety, providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sports cars drivers. From grassroots to professional racers, HMS Motorsport has over 25 years' experience outfitting drivers with the best gear on the market. Equipped with first-hand product knowledge, our experts are ready to help you select the best harness belt, seats, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. HMS is even the exclusive importer for Schroed belts, Schubert helmets, and Valero base layers. Visit one of our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts. Or check us online at hmsmotorsport.com, where you can learn the details of our products and order online. Safety starts here.
Welcome back to the Bullring, presented by HMS Motorsport, and is sometimes the case may be Mike Hopkins not able to join us this afternoon, coming off his big win in the Coastal 200 up at Wiscasset. And I say because, as it may tend to be, this is a blue collar show.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get caught up on work. We heard it might have been before we started recording, but Hunter Robbins was talking about how he's playing catch up at work.
Yep.
I'm playing catch up at work.
Yep. You got
all these guys.
Yeah, people in school and different things like that. So we do apologize for that, but that gives us a chance to look a little bit further ahead here on Racing America. And, you know, the big build-up was for North Wilkesboro, and we produced that race for Flow, but we had a ton of great coverage there, and I was very proud of all our social folks and editorial folks. But you know, coming up here second week in July, Slinger Nationals on a Tuesday night here on Racing America.
Yeah,
we already know Matt Kenseth going back there looking for a ninth Slinger Nationals win. And then the end of August, the 50th annual Oxford 250. And we got some pretty cool stuff coming up around that. We're going to count down the 50 greatest drivers of the Oxford 250 here starting next week, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Going from 50 on. And we're also going to recap some of the, well, not some, we're going to recap every Oxford 250, and we'll have some video that accompanies, you know, some of that stuff as well. Some of those races didn't have any any video or coverage,
any footage,
you know, back in 1974, 75. So a lot to look forward to, really kind of getting into the second half of the season now.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big event. That to me is not, we're on these are our summer big shows.
I think the two biggest in the summer.
For sure. And then, you know, we get into the fall, but that's a while out from.
And I'll tell you another one that I don't want to forget about, that'll be on Racing America pay-per-view, the Redbud 400.
Yes.
That's probably the third big one.
Yes.
And it'll be, I believe it's the 50th Redbud 400 this year, and they're going to do some pretty special ASA throwbacks and have some guest there, because that's really where ASA was born.
Yeah.
And fitting that this year with the creation of the ASA Stars, it all kind of lines up to get that Redbud.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, each of these big shows we're talking about, it's kind of like they're all their own little pocket of the late model world, whether that be drivers or fans. And like, I feel like each kind of pocket of the country, like they call theirs the biggest, and they're all great.
Yep.
They're all going to be so much, and especially the big anniversary years. Yeah.
And you'll be able to see all those events here on Racing America. So look forward to that schedule, and be sure to be a part of these big events that'll be coming up here on Racing America. When we come back, we're going to talk about all the great action you'll be able to watch on Racing America this weekend.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet. That's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety, providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sports cars drivers. From grassroots to professional racers, HMS Motorsport has over 25 years' experience outfitting drivers with the best gear on the market. Equipped with first-hand product knowledge, our experts are ready to help you select the best harness belts, seats, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. HMS is even the exclusive importer for Schroed belts, Schubert helmets, and Valero base layers. Visit one of our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us online at hmsmotorsport.com, where you can learn the details of our products and order online. Safety starts here.
ASA returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park Father's Day Sunday, June 18th, as Track Enterprises present the ASA Stars National Tour and ASA Midwest Tour. See the nation's top drivers with the best super late model stars in the Father's Day 100, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. Or other great racing series will also be in action. Tickets available online at MilwaukeeMileRacing.com or at the gate on race day. For complete details, go to MilwaukeeMileRacing.com. Racing returns to Milwaukee Sunday, June 18th.
Welcome to RaceFace Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then RaceFace Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Well, we can't wait for another great weekend of racing action here on Racing America. I hope you can join all these racetracks, but if you can't be there in person, we got lots of places to go, right, Jess?
Oh, yeah.
Starting Friday night at Five Flags Speedway, they've got local racing, Outlaw Sportsman, Pure Stock Sportsman race they had there a few weeks ago. It was just
great.
It was outstanding.
Their local racing always is there.
Yeah. On Saturday, it'll be our first Granite State Pro Stock Series race of the season. That's at Riverside Speedway up in New Hampshire. We talked about it a little bit earlier with Gio Ruggiero, ASA Supers, CRA Supers, and JEG CRA All-Stars at Salem.
Mm-hmm.
2 great divisions, a great racetrack that goes way back in CRA history.
Yes, for sure. I've only been one time. It was with ARCA.
Mm-hmm.
And
you like it?
I the thing that sticks out to me is Christian Eckes got food poisoning, not from the track, somewhere outside the track. And he couldn't race, and he was like, and Travis was the championship points leader, and it was just rainy, weird weekend. So I need to go back.
Yeah, it sounds like Charlotte.
Yes.
That's on Saturday. On Sunday, 2 racetracks that we've seen some outstanding races at this year. Slinger Super Speedway, the Pro Late Models will be the featured division there on Sunday afternoon. And also on Sunday in Maine, Oxford Plains Speedway, past Super Late Models and past Modifieds. I've seen a lot of great racing at those 2 tracks this year.
Yeah. I put them in the same category as Five Flags, Nashville, where like the local racing and just pretty much any racing that goes on at those tracks are always very exciting.
No doubt. When we come back, we'll wrap it up here on the Bullring.
Five-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market. Aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials. Tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Celebrate opening weekend at Oxford Plains Speedway, Saturday and Sunday, April 22nd and 23rd. The Oxford Championship Series hits the track on Saturday featuring Super Late Model. Then on Sunday, the Pass Super Late Model, Pass Modified, and Limited take over to battle it out for short track supremacy. Come enjoy a weekend full of fast fun at Oxford Plains Speedway, April 22nd and 23rd. Or you can watch it all on Racing America.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
I want to thank all of our guests for joining us here today on the Bullring, including Hunter Robbins, Gio Ruggiero, Jay Pennell, also Danny Benedict, and Mike Hopkins. As we said, lots of great racing coming on here on Racing America this weekend. Be sure to check that out. Also, I join you tomorrow on Cars Tour Weekly.
Yes, thank you.
You look like you just heard that for the first time.
Yeah, well, that's news to me that you're going to be my co-host, but I'm glad.
Yep.
And I just feel like I put you in a I feel like it's uncomfortable for you. I'm in charge.
It is very uncomfortable. It is.
But I appreciate it.
Yes, and that'll be tomorrow, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget our 24/7 channel on connected devices. For all the news in the world of NASCAR and short track racing, go to racingamerica.com. Same place, same time next week. We hope to see you back here on the Bullring. Thanks for joining us today.